My 35M ex-wife left me about 2 years ago, and rightfully so. I was or am an alcoholic. I've made great progressive in getting sober since, but I would be lying if I said I have been flawless. I have had slips, but I've been mostly sober for about 18 months. Mostly. Anyway, we have a son 6 together, and I've always loved my son with all my heart, do anything for him. So me and my ex have had to maintain a somewhat friendly relationship since the split just cause I still wanna see my son, and she never once tried to stop me, which I thank her for. Anyway, here's the story. Right after her leaving me for being an alcoholic, I first took the approach of yeah, I'll show you an alcoholic, and went even harder, which ended up with me nearly dying and realizing she was right. I am an alcoholic, and I've got to stop this shit before it stops me. So a grueling detox, and later, I'm trying to get sober. While that's happening, she meets another guy. They move in, even have a baby together, who is now walking in shit. I wanted known I never once had any interest in winning her back. The day I decided to get sober, mostly for me. I needed to realize I deserved a better life, and that the only person stopping me from that was me, and be my son. My son deserved a better father, and once again, that meant I needed to work on me. I considered dating once or twice in the time I've been single, but every time I decided I wasn't done working on myself yet. About 3 months ago, I noticed a change in the way X talked to me. The normal little digs she would put into our talks, which was always about our son. Never personal, just strictly business-like. For example, if she called me at like 7 a.m, she'd say, "Sorry to wake you up so early when you must be hungover," to which I'd say, "Nah. Now that I'm not drinking myself to sleep, I just never sleep anymore." That type of dig slowly disappeared. Normal stuff. But then, the calls quit being so business-like. She was no longer calling me to tell me about what our son did at school or whatever. Sometimes she'd just call and tell me about her day first, and then she'd bring up the son. Okay, cool, we're becoming friends. But then it kept going. More little tiny changes in the way she talked to me. I told my brother, dad, and mom. I thought she was starting to wanting me back. The biggest being she mentioned she started playing a new game, and I was like, "Oh man, I've been wanting to play that. People say it's good," and she was like, "Well, you could come over when new guy isn't here and play it sometime. But only to play the game, okay?" Just playing the game, which I thought was really weird that she'd even invite me over. But more so that she would specifically mention only to play. I decided not to take her up on that offer. I never even told her no, I just never mentioned it again. But I told my family. I thought she might be getting to that point. My dad and brother both told me, "Hey buddy, it's okay. You'll find someone else. You don't need to be thinking about her," to which I said no. I don't want to date anyone. No one right now. That includes her, and my mom said, "Well, of course she wants you back. Who wouldn't want you?" Thanks, mom. But I don't think she actually believed me. Just being mom. So that's the backstory. Yesterday, I had our son, but I had to take him home for school the next day. But I was being a little selfish and didn't want to take him home just yet, so I decided to let him play a little longer. We were about 30 minutes late from him being home, and my phone rings and it's my ex. I answered it and said, "Hey, we're fine. I'm like 2 minutes away. I just didn't want to take him home just yet." And then she goes, You're such a good dad. You've always been a good dad." And then silence. I waited to see if there was more to that thought. And eventually I said, "Is everything okay?" More silence. Then I can hear some light crying. So I start getting really nervous. And for a split second, I assume the worst news any parent could ever hear. Before reminding myself my son was right here with me. So now I'm curious what's going on. You've got me really worried here. What's going on? I suddenly recognized why she sounded so weird. She was drunk off her ass. We had been together for 11 years, and friends before that. I knew the sound quite well. So drunk she wasn't finishing sentences. She said, "I miss how easy it was with you, and you can't be with someone for over 10 years and just, I had spent many years dealing with drunk EX. So I said the right things to ease her mind of that track and assured her I'd bring our son home in a few minutes, and maybe she should just go lie down. And she said, "Okay, bring him home, and we will go from there, whatever that means." Now, I'm not saying this means she wants me back, and it definitely doesn't mean I want that. I like how things are going. I fucking love it, in fact. But it does prove that those thoughts, however subconscious, are in there. And I was right. And I guess MOM gets half credit too. And I know I'm an asshole, but a part of me is like, wow, it's so weird to be the recipient of drunk phone calls instead of the one making them. And this morning, I thought, I'm so glad I'm not her. Not only does she probably feel like twice Ray heated dog shit, she's all embarrassed and worried how much her new Jude may have heard what she said. It's just nice to be outside the drunk drama. Cause I didn't do shit this time. I'm innocent of the drunken drama. Anyway, peas stored in the balls. Edit. I'm not sure if this is how updates work or not. I saw a lot of you fools saying remind you of what? This was supposed to be a one-off. One and done. A fun little story I wanted to tell. But would you all let it sit? No. You all wanted more. Gluttonous bastards. But as a gluttonous bastard myself, here is some news you all might be interested in. Since the phone call, which at the time of my writing this update happened approximately 39 hours ago, I received a text from my ex-wife, who informed me that she was currently giving up alcohol. She said she decided it was time she got sober too. We talked briefly about effective methods of keeping your mind off wanting to take a drink. And then we moved back into our usual conversations, which could be called shooting the shit. It was very pleasant, as it always is, and I will always love this woman. But I don't think it's romantic anymore, for either of us. She just had a drunken moment, to which I can certainly relate. Thank you all for reading. About 90% of you guys are great. The rest 5% are neutral, and some of you guys need help.